Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Basil Considine. I'm here from the ACU Online Writing Center, and today we're going to do 10 time-saving tips for updating your manuscript to APA 7th edition. First, we're going to go ahead and work with Find and Replace. Find and Replace in Microsoft Word is a powerful tool, and it works great for things like this where you're updating formatting, where there's certain text that you used to have that you don't need anymore. So we just need to find out the exact piece of text to search for and just delete it. Step 1, we're going to go ahead and use Find and Replace to replace 2 spaces after a period with 1 space after a period. There's total consistency now in APA 7th edition. You will always have no more than 1 space after a period. So go ahead and do this. You can pause the video if you want to go ahead and make sure you've done the step and then hit play again after you're done. Step 2. Use Find and Replace to replace 2 spaces after a colon with 1 space after a colon. Now you shouldn't actually have 2 spaces after a colon in APA 6th edition, but it's such a common error that you've already got it pulled up in Word. Might as well do this as well and save you a little proofreading later. Next up, we're going to replace the old DOI formats with the new standard. So whether you have the very oldest DOI colon followed by a string of numbers and letters, or you have one of the web formats that use dx.doi.org, search for all of these and replace them with the new format, which is https://doi.org/. And then you'll have a link. Go ahead and use Find and Replace to delete the common city and state information from your references list. So some of the most common academic book publishers in the US publish out of Boston, Massachusetts, Chicago, Illinois, Hoboken, New Jersey, London in the UK, New York, Princeton, New Jersey, Rochester, New York, and Thousand Oaks, California. While we're at it, let's go ahead and do searches for the other common typo forms where people have left out the state or the country. And go ahead and, while we're at that, also go for retrieved from colon and Kindle edition in square brackets. Part 2, simplifying citations. So a APA 7th edition rule change is that any source with 3 or more citations is automatically always abbreviated in the body of your document to first author et al. So you don't have to wait till you cite it first. You don't have to wait till it has at least 6 authors. Just go ahead and make the change immediately. If you see at least 3 authors, you're going to go ahead and abbreviate that to first author et al. So we're going to start that out by going to your reference list and just looking for a source that has at least 3 to 5 authors. If it's got 6 or more, you should have abbreviated it already. So we're just looking for 3 to 5 authors. Copy and paste those authors and the publication date into another document, so you can use that to do a find search for the first author's last name followed by a comma. Check the publication date to make sure that this is the source that you had on your list, and then just go ahead and update that to first author et al. Period instead of the first 3 to 5 authors' last names. And then go ahead and run your find search again to see if there are any other instances of that you need to update as well. Part 3, updating more references. Go ahead and do a find search in your references section for 3 periods separated by spaces or just 3 periods no space. Our goal is to find any sources that you might have abbreviated the author list because there were more than 7 authors. In APA 7th edition, you write out the full author list up to a maximum of 20 authors. So if you find any of these ellipses, they should be indicating that you abbreviated the author list. Plug in the new author list up to 20. If there's more than 21, you list the first 19, add period, space, period, and then the last author's name. Number 8. Go ahead and do a find search in your references section for an open square bracket. If you see that the square bracket is followed by information identifying a digital book edition like Kindle edition, Nook edition, ebook edition, Red Shelf edition, go ahead and delete the square brackets and the information inside it. And then If it's something else, like identifying this as a video or a blog post, leave it alone. We're just removing the digital book information because that specification is no longer required in APA 7th edition. Part 4. Updating figure captions. So a change in APA 7th edition is that figure captions now go on top of the figure just as they do with tables. In fact, there's some formatting changes to make it look just the same as when you're listing a table. So go ahead and do a find search for figure to quickly jump to each figure in your document. Move the label figure 1 period, figure 2 period, and the caption to be above the figure rather than below it. Leave any notes below the figure. Delete the period after the figure number and add a double-spaced line break after the figure label so the text looks double-spaced. And then replace the caption with an italicized title formatted in title case. Then go ahead and update the figure title in your list of figures so that it matches. Last up, Part 5, update your APA heading styles. This one you should definitely recommending that you ask the Writing Center. Go ahead and make an appointment with the Writing Center and ask that we add the new 7th edition template styles to your manuscript. Upload your manuscript to Turnitin and we'll send it back to you with those styles added, and then you can go ahead and apply them to reformat your level 3, 4, and 5 headings. Make sure that your level 3 headings now show up in your table of contents and everything else that goes with that. If you're wondering what those heading levels look like now, got the formatting here for you. And for everything else, for additional tips and tricks and videos, go ahead and visit the Writing Center website. Alright, this is Basil Considine from the ACU Writing Center. Goodbye.